Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. And on today's show, Marvel kills off the Punisher, the Rocketeer soars, and the Power Rangers reunite. But as you know, here at Model Behaviour, action figures always come first, or sometimes not at all. So let's talk about them. So with this being the first episode of Good News for 2023, there are a lot of action figures to cover. Before I do that though, I just want to let you know that also at the end of this video, there's going to be some extra videos, a little Brucey bonus content. And what's that going to be? It's going to be all the people that you should have seen in the Christmas special, but they weren't included. Why? Well, they kind of played themselves. You know what they did? They sent their videos to me on time, like really promptly before anyone else did. Yeah, I know. What were you guys thinking? Because of course that meant that I then put them in a different folder and forgot to transfer them over when I was making the video. So guys, thank you so much, and I am so sorry. I have these visions of you sitting down with your family all gathered around you on Christmas Day to watch your big moment on Model Behaviour, and then it never comes up. So I got some really sweet, polite messages. Like everyone was super cool. God bless you. You were saying, Dave, did you not receive the video I sent? I was like, no. So those are included at the end of this episode. And gang, I promise in the Christmas special 2023, you guys are going to be front and center. So that being said, look forward to those at the end of the episode. Let's talk toys. First up, Hasbro have revealed full ordering details for their new legends. We've got the Franklin and Valeria 2-pack, and we got the Gamerverse Spider-Man. Now, these are kind of interesting to look at. First of all, Gamerverse Spider-Man, this is a crowd pleaser. This ain't no teaser. This is what people have been wanting on the Renew Your Vows body. Mwah, love it. And also, people have been asking for another Gamerverse Spider-Man because the original is kind of hard to come by. So he's been going for big bucks on the second-hand market. But this brand new figure is going for big bucks on the first-hand market. $35 for a regular Marvel Legend. And you can throw in all the bits of crappy webs that you want. That doesn't make it a £35 figure, guys. I'm sorry. I think what it might have been is that Hasbro have seen what some of their legends are going for on the second-hand market, and they're like, we can get a cut of this. And the problem is, those crazy prices are only sold to the most hardcore psycho collectors. And I know, because you don't want to know what I paid for the original Hobgoblin. Worth it. But when you try and put those prices out to your regular marketplace, you know what's going to happen? People are going to stop buying. Just like this guy here. I'm kind of done now. I'm still going to buy Marvel Legends if I can do in Japan just for the reviews. But then I don't know if I'll be able to sell them. So I might not. I don't know. It's tough because it's just too much. It's not enough bang for your buck. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Speaking of which, we also have the Franklin and Valeria 2-pack. Now again, this is kind of a fun looking 2-pack. I mean, I give credit where it's due in as much as it's Franklin and Valeria Richards. Like, this is for, again, the most hardcore of Marvel collectors. And having them together in a 2-pack, that actually makes sense. It's not like pairing up Doc Ock and Silk, where you're like, well, I've got one of these, or why would I, even if I have neither of them, do I necessarily want a classic Spider-Man villain and like a C-tier extra Spider-Person? That didn't make no sense. Whereas with Franklin and Valeria, that makes perfect sense. Of course, if you got one, you're going to want the other one. You're not going to be like, I'm just a Franklin man. I don't need Valeria. No. So that's fine. And they do cram in some nice stuff. Love the little moloid head. That's really fun. You got all the bottles and beakers and all that stuff. I see that Valeria is on the older body, which is, it's a shame. And again, the prices are the typical, like, high prices, but they're the typical high prices. They're about $26 each. So that becomes a, $50 plus 2-pack, which again, it's a lot of wonga. But if I rant and rave about these prices all day, then we're going to be here all day. That's what happens when you do something all day. Time's a funny old thing. So yeah, these guys are up for pre-order now. And yeah, if you want them, go get them. Speaking of items up for pre-order, McFarlane DC. There's a lot of stuff. I think 2023, they are going to be super, super prolific. And they're pumping out some good quality looking figures. So I'm going to go through each of these and just talk about them very quickly. First of all, we've got the wave that includes Kingdom Come Batman, Superboy, Signal, and Gladiator Batman. We've covered these before, but they just have more kind of reveal pictures. Well, not really reveal pictures, but full on, this is what you're getting, and you can now pre-order them. But then we got the wave that's got a couple of the big boys in. So we've got this next wave, which has the Earth 2 Batman, which is a skin from the Arkham games. I think you got to have a Batman in there somewhere. Hey, look, if he sells, more power to you. Then there's also the Arkham Knight Riddler. And actually, I kind of like this design of Riddler. It's the sort of classic Riddler kind of cliches, but not overly ridiculous. I think that's a good look for him. So one thing I didn't like in the Batman movie was they just went full Unabomber, crazy Zodiac killer with him. And it was still a good film, but like, it's not really the Riddler, you know what I'm saying? Then there's Calibac. And Calibac, I said before, this is just like, you could get this guy as like a fun army builder if you're, building him Thor. I was trying to say like a Mjolnir collection. That doesn't mean anything. An Asgardian collection. That's what I was trying to make come out my word hole. So yeah, he's just a troll. He's just a big, badass looking troll. I really love that. Is he the son of Darkseid? I think that's what someone told me in the comments. I don't know if my brain recorded that correctly or not. But yeah, he looks really fun. And then also, speaking of fun, we got this Fulcrum Abominus. I had to double check that there. Fulcrum Abominus. The JLA Megazord, basically. When I originally saw the preview picture, when it's all lit beautifully, I was like, maybe that could be worth a purchase. Now kind of seeing him in the cold light of day, I'm like, I don't know. It's quirky and fun, but I think sometimes when you see something in person, it captures you more. So if I saw him in store, I might be swung over. We'll see. I love the idea, though. If there was an Avengers style one of those, that could be super fun too. But yeah, those are up for pre-order now. So the regular ones are priced at $22.99, which is a little bit of an increase in price, but it's not insane. And then also the mega figures are priced at $39.99. And yeah, like I said about the Hasbro ones, you want them? Go get them. Now something a little more high-end and kind of highfalutin. We've got McFarlane, still McFarlane, but they're going into statues now with a Batman 12-inch, is it 12-inch? Yeah, a 12-inch Hush Batman statue. And this guy looks really good. I got to say, there's no other information on him with regards to when he's going to be released or even how much he's going to cost. Statues normally get pretty expensive. I'm guessing like a $200 kind of range, but it could be way more. You just don't know what's going into it. But the design of Batman in this is my absolute favorite kind of Batman. It's the blue and gray, but it's kind of dulled down a bit, and I love all the nicks and scratches on his suit. It makes it look kind of armored, but not like armor plates, but just like he's got some Kevlar under there or something. It's a cool look. So yeah, I'm not a statue guy, but I am excited just to see what McFarlane does with this, because statues isn't their bread and butter. So it's interesting to see them moving into this kind of realm. So yeah, watch this space and I'll share more pictures when we get them. Speaking of more high-end kind of stuff, Threezero have shown their Iron Man armor. What mark is it? It's Mark 7 armor. Kind of classic red and gold. Which one was this? Was this from the first Avengers movie? I think it might have been, but help me out. Stop me if I'm wrong. But it's classic MCU Iron Man, basically. And yeah, looks super cool. We don't have a price yet, but I'm assuming like about $100, but don't quote me on that. If you take me to court, I'm not going to be able to put my name to that, but it's a guess. However, he does come with some light up functions as well. So you're going to have a glowing arc reactor in the eyes there. It's going to be a beautiful package. If you want a quintessential Iron Man, especially in a 1/12 scale, yeah, this could be the ultimate one to go for. So yeah, there he is. I got to think of better ways to end each one of these segments. Now, something I've been getting continuously won over towards are the Nendroid figures from the Good Smile Company, and now they're doing the classic 80s animated Turtles. I can't remember which Nendroid figure it was that someone showed in the Christmas special, but I saw it and was like, oh yeah, that looks really pretty, and these look really pretty as well. Because they look like just kind of like cheap, silly little things, and then you see them moving and articulating, and you're like, oh no, those are beautifully put together. And this it's a little bit of a nostalgia bomb right there. So these guys, they ain't cheap, but they're not crazy. They're $47.99 each, which is still, you get all four. That's slightly less than $200. That's all the math I'm going to do. But all of them, they do look wicked. So they're going to come out towards the end of the year. I think it's around about October time in Japan, and then a little bit later in the US. But yeah, Nendroid, Good Smile. Every day I inch closer to getting one of you guys. Not sure which one, but I am tempted. Speaking of being tempted, Neca Gargoyles. Neca Gargoyles, I'll say it a third time. Neca Gargoyles. Holy potatoes. The Steel Clan robot. It's lucky. Two things. I didn't really watch the cartoon much as a tween-age kid. And also, we just don't seem to get them in the UK. I haven't seen Neca Gargoyles anywhere. Thank goodness. Otherwise, I would have spent a lot of money, especially on one of these guys. So a robot version of Goliath, it looks so cool. And it should do, because again, it ain't cheap, but it's not crazy either. Again, looking at my notes, $37.99. Yes, expensive, but still, just look at the heft, the amount of stuff you get with it. Compare that to, say, something of a similar price, like, I don't know, Gameverse Spider-Man. All of a sudden you're like, I feel I'm going to get more bang for my buck over with this different license. And if Hasbro are like, hey, we can't help it, we got to pay for the Marvel license, then what we got to do is stop buying those figures so that Hasbro can then go back to Disney and say, hey, look, you can't charge this much for the Marvel license because people aren't buying it. That's what it is. If we stop buying the figures, then Disney will go, well, no one's buying our figures, so I guess the license, like, we're going to have to charge less. That's economics, man. That's, I did study a little bit of it, not much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not like a smarty pants, but still, it's supply and demand. If we don't demand them so much, they're going to have to mix things up a little bit. That was a little tangent. What was I talking about? The robot Goliath. Yeah, he looks incredible. So, yeah, if I'm ever confronted with a gargoyle, I might finally buy one. Speaking of Hasbro, their ears must have been burning. They revealed some more of their Indiana Jones figures. They revealed some retro ones as well, but I'm just mainly going to focus on the 6-inch ones, because 6-inch figures are the ones that mash my potatoes. So we've got, first of all, Donovan from Last Crusade, which actually is my favorite Indiana Jones film. I know that's not the kind of most popular one for film buffs to be their favorite, but I love it with Indy and his dad, and just it's a great adventure romp. Fantastic. And Donovan was a good villain as well. And they even have the terrifying old man version of him where he de-ages, or he ages into a skeleton. That's really cool. And also we've got Disney in his Club Obi-Wan tuxedo, which is kind of fun. And then also we are getting Professor Indiana Jones, which, like, my only problem with these three figures together is that they're all just like guys smartly dressed. They're not really the most toyetic looking figures in the world, when there are other characters you could have done to spice up the releases, like Temple of Doom. You've hardly minded that at all, no pun intended. You could have done the whole Kalima guy, or, you know, Indy in his torn shirt and all that kind of jazz, but just like three dudes in suits, it's not the most exciting things to have on your shelves, you know what I'm saying? Also, they released a kid's whip toy, which is just kind of weird and sort of crap. You know, it's like a whip that like unfurls to about this long. It's like whoosh. Like, if I was a child, actually I'm pretty sure as a kid, I wanted an Indiana Jones whip. So what did I do? I just got a piece of rope, because you know what, that cost like $1. And, you know, that you wrap it up and that's a whip, you know, to a kid. You don't need some crappy little... even if I was like 5 years old and somehow a massive Indiana Jones fan, if I got that, I'd be like, hell am I supposed to do with this? Anyway, that's some Indiana Jones stuff. Now, we got a big one, and oh, it's a big one. Mezco have finally revealed their full Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. $400. Oh, but it looks so good. I mean, all four of them, all the accessories, everything together. They just, I know, $100 a figure is cuckoo bananas. But at the same time, they look so good. Each one of them comes with 3 different heads and all the cloth goods as well. All the different clothes that you can put them in for their disguises, their weapons, all the accoutrements. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, come on, Dave, you can find $400 somewhere. What can you sell? Damn it, what is left to sell? I'm torn. I'm really torn because they look so good. I would say what the release date is, but I mean, come on. Did they even put one? I mean, are they even gonna tease us? Due for release in the 4th quarter of the year. Yeah. We'll see about that. Then again, they do say 4th quarter of the year. Didn't specify what year. The year 2026? Maybe. But I'm just filling time while showing these pictures because they just look amazing. I haven't rolled the dice because honestly, like, finances are pretty tight. My YouTube figures have plummeted recently. I don't know if it's an algorithm thing or something, but like folks ain't watching the channel no more, and the subscribers have just like plateaued. I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to keep on doing what I do because that's what brought y'all to the dance. So I'm going to keep on doing it. But man, like, YouTube ain't my friend right now. I don't know. I think I'm on their do not answer list. Regardless, this set looks amazing. I might bite on it eventually. I don't know. Speaking of Mezco, we're going to stick with these guys for a little while. They have also revealed their 1/12 Collective Death Adder exclusive figure. Now, this is, of course, part of their Rumble Society. It's their own license, and that allows them to kind of just, I suppose, just put them out quicker. Or they want to put them out quicker because I guess they make more money on them. I don't know. But this is one, I'm always very interested in the Rumble Society. I love the crazy concepts and cool looks. This one doesn't sing to me so much because it's very black. As you can see, so it's a black snake head on a black military type, wet works, covert ops type body. The work has clearly gone into making it a well-made figure, but that doesn't sing to me the way it needs to for me to drop that kind of money. So even though he looks kind of cool, this is a Rumble Society figure I can pass on. I like the more brightly colored, interesting, quirky kind of characters. Granted, a special ops soldier with a snake head, that is kind of quirky, I'll give you that. But it's just not enough to make me totally go for it. But still, he looks very pretty. Do I have any more information on that? Or is it just, apparently ships in 4 to 6 weeks. Like, he's good to go. And he's going to be charging, well, not he personally, but Mezco are going to charge $95 for him. Jazzwares have revealed their AEW Unlimited Series 6 figures, and there's a fun little assortment in here. First of all, we've got Owen Hart, and that's just lovely to see Owen Hart figures and merchandise, and it kind of just warms the heart. You know the money's going to a good place and keeps the memory of a beloved pro wrestler alive. So that's really nice. Plus, there's going to be a chase version with blue tights, 1 in 5,000. So yeah, keep your eye out for that one. Then we got Santana and Ortiz, and they're wearing their Dead Presidents makeup, which is kind of fun. Although it sort of reminds me that we haven't seen them as a tag team for a long time, and that's kind of a shame. I want to see Santana and Ortiz back together in AEW, maybe one of these days. In the meantime, though, we can immortalize them in their tag team form as far as action figures go. Then Ruby Soho. I get the feeling we're going to get a bloody variant of this figure at some point because she had an absolute war on Rampage recently, which is a sight you don't normally see. That was kind of cool. Props to the lady. And she's got a decent looking action figure as well. Then there's Brody Lee, another character, another human being that we're happy to be able to just kind of, keep in our hearts and on our shelves as well. There's also a blue suit chase variant that's going to be 1 in 3,000. When they say chase, they ain't messing around, are they? 1 in 5,000, 1 in 3,000. You'll have to look pretty hard for those. And finally, there's probably one of the most toyetic pro wrestlers out there at the moment, Malachi Black, with the cool mask and all that sort of stuff, with his heebie-jeebie death metal sort of looking gear. That's a really cool one. I'm glad he managed to kind of sort himself out, because he took some time off a while ago to just kind of get his head right, essentially. And now he's back and doing his thing, and that's awesome. Glad to see Malachi Black back on TV. Too many B words next to each other. Confused my brain. And speaking of Mezco again, they are releasing a statue. This time it's a Static 6 Rumble Society Doc Nocturnal statue. And they sort of dabble in statues, and again, not my kind of forte, but boy does it look awesome. I mean, I got to say, $225 this thing's retailing for. And being Mezco, always got different things you can swap in and out to personalize it, mix it up a little bit. I think the look, I mean, granted, these are of course promo pictures. It's designed to look as awesome as possible. And guess what? It works. The photographer understood the assignment. The skull and just, the lighting, it looks badass. So yeah, for any of you statue collectors out there, this is one to watch. Over to movies and TV news now. Megan, the killer doll hit of January, is going to be getting a sequel. And I can understand why. I just watched that last night. Really enjoyed it. It wasn't quite the sort of Chucky ripoff that I was expecting. It was fun, quirky. Yeah, go check it out. Megan gets a little, I was going to say double thumbs up. It gets a thumb and a half up. Ooh, misses. So yeah, it's going to get a sequel that's going to come out January 2025. So look forward to that because yeah, as far as the killer doll genre of movies goes, this is one of the better ones. Now a little Guardians of the Galaxy 3 info, and skip forward to the next chapter if you just don't want to see a picture. But do bear in mind, this is an officially released picture. This ain't like spoilers. This thing's doing the rounds all over the place. What is it that I'm talking about? Talking about a picture of Will Poulter as, my brain just misfired. Adam Warlock. I didn't want to look down at my notes. I knew it was up there. Will Poulter as Adam Warlock. He looks the business. I got to say, I mean, granted, he's wearing a suit and whatnot, but he looks jacked. I don't know, how much of that is movie trickery or not. I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm sure he's been working out, and he looks the business. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with that. I like him as an actor. He's a quirky, unusual, looking, performing kind of guy in a good way, and I think he'll bring a real kind of cool, unusual alien kind of presence to Adam Warlock. Guardians 3, I think that might be another example of the MCU moving back in the right direction. I'll be there opening night. Michael Jackson is getting a biopic, and this is one that you could mull over for a huge amount of time. A Michael Jackson biopic, that's it's difficult to do a biopic on anyone. No one is a perfect human being besides me, obviously. That's not true, but I don't think anyone would want to go see a model behavior biopic. It wouldn't be that riveting. However, Michael Jackson, there's a lot of stories to tell, but I don't know how well they're going to be telling them because it is being made in conjunction with the Michael Jackson estate. And so it's not going to be like a warts and all kind of thing. It's going to be very complimentary. But also there's no way you can kind of win when doing a Michael Jackson biopic. It's either slightly damning and people will be like, geez, I didn't want to see a hit piece on someone. Or it's not and it's just sunshine and rainbows and people will be like, well, why aren't you mentioning all the massive controversies? So, I don't know. I'll be interested to see what it comes out as. So there are people that I'm familiar with. It's being directed by a guy called Antoine Fuqua. And also John Logan will write the script. And Bohemian Rhapsody's Graham King will produce. So it's got people who have made biopics before making it. But yeah, I just don't know how you're going to do this, man. I'll be interested because Michael Jackson's one of those people who it's we don't know really what the true stories are, but I do like his music and I kind of separate the art from the artist. But at the same time, do I want to go and see his life story up on the big screen? Probably not. On the small screen though, The Last of Us Episode 1 has debuted and oh my goodness! I loved it. And it seems like the general consensus is that most people did. This was a slam dunk home run, to mix metaphors. Absolutely fantastic. I was not on board with Pedro Pascal as Joel. I thought, you know what? It's just because he's the flavor of the month. People like him in The Mandalorian. He's going to put butts in seats. We'll make him Joel. Nuh-uh. Shut up, Dave. You don't know what you're talking about. He kills it as Joel. Absolutely fantastic. And there's Bella Ramsey as Ellie. And that's one that I do still need to be won over on. She is a fantastic actress. She's got the chops. no doubt. But I think I'm so conditioned as to what Ellie should look like that when I see Bella Ramsey, who looks so different to the fictional CGI character, that my brain is just like, you're saying things that Ellie would say, but that's not Ellie, you know? It's a funny old one, but Lord bless her, like, she's a phenomenal actress, so I'm sure she's gonna win me over time. But the whole tone and the look and the feel of that first episode, just fantastic. Cannot wait for episode 2 and the rest of the series. HBO, you've done it again. One thing that does unite people, though, is The Mandalorian, which we can all generally agree is some of the slightly better Star Wars content that we've got over the last couple of years. And Season 3 has had its trailer, which is kind of like more of a sizzle reel, like a flavor piece to give you an idea of what we're going to get. What we're going to get is more Mando and Grogu, which is just the winning combination, but also like some nice little Easter egg things. I love seeing the little Salacious Crumb monkey lizard type little creature pop up there. Little bits of fan service like that are always fun. Then we got some Jedi in there as well, which I'm guessing is going to be a flashback, so we can see how Grogu escaped the Jedi Temple. So that's going to be kind of interesting. And then also there's rumblings about this greater evil or whatever it is that's out there, which I'm guessing, and I'm not alone in this, isn't like a hot take on my part, but it's got to be Thrawn, right? We getting some Thrawn action coming up. That could be kind of cool. So yeah, when Mandalorian Season 3 hits, I'm going to be watching it. Again, Pedro Pascal, man. He's doing all right. And finally, for movies and TV, April 19th sees Netflix's Power Rangers 30th anniversary celebration documentary, cast reunion, all the feels. They've released a trailer. I'm hearing the Go Go Power Rangers song in my head right now. It gives me so many warm nostalgia feels going on right here. It's bittersweet, obviously, because you can't reunite everyone. Everyone's not with us anymore, which is so incredibly sad. But also seeing the people who we did grow up with back together again. Billy was always my favorite, so seeing him and Zach, and that's going to be great. That's going to be really lovely. And I know that they said, or people have said that making Power Rangers, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, but the fact that the core cast can get back together and reminisce and just enjoy a little nostalgia trip, I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a good time. Over in comic books, and Marvel are doing a Spider-Man 2099 5-issue limited series starting in May that is going to introduce Carnage 2099, which, I mean, to be honest, you slap Carnage on anything, it's going to guarantee some more fan interest, because he's a fan favorite. That kind of piqued my interest. I was like, 2099, ooh, Carnage 29.99? And it's also going to incorporate a whole bunch of different 2099, shall I say 2099 one more time? 2099 characters like Punisher, Blade. He's going to have a bit of a team together. I like the redesigns of a lot of these characters, and Miguel, he's always been a favorite of mine. Mezco Miguel behind me, one of my figures of the year, despite the massive flaws it does have. So yeah, come May, it's going to be 5-issue limited series. It's written down as being a weekly series, which, I don't know, I mean, it might be, but that would be unusual. Regardless of how often it comes out, I'm going to be there reading it. Hitting me right in the nostalgia bone here, IDW Publishing are doing a Rocketeer one-shot comic with a whole bunch of stories in there, an anthology, if you will. But what's particularly nice about this is that one of the stories is written by Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo, who were the original writers of the Rocketeer movie. They had actually written a story as a follow-up to that original film. And it's such a shame that film didn't get any sequels, because it's a damn good time. If you haven't seen The Rocketeer, go do yourself a favor. A little bit of action-adventure from 1991. It would fit right into the feel of like Indiana Jones and all those other kind of pulp heroes. Really great stuff. So there is an anthology comic coming from IDW. That's another one I'm going to be looking out for. And finally for comics, The Punisher is dead. Kind of. Yeah, a little clickbaity there. He's scrapped completely now. It's gone. The old Punisher skull logo. They've had this story going on for a while. I'm not going to edit that. Where the Punisher has joined the Hand as their sort of leader and chief assassin, basically, because they have brought his wife back from the dead. a storyline that I think completely goes against the character of the Punisher, but you know what? I will allow it from up on high. I mean, hey, look, he's been an angel, he's been Frankenstein's monster. These things, you know, they go through different waves of stuff. At the moment, he's working with the Hand. But as part of that, he has a new redesigned Oni-type logo. And of course, the reason for this is because, unfortunately, the Punisher skull logo has been, you know, taken and used by a bunch of douchebags, basically. You know, white supremacists and awful human beings are like, yeah, Punisher skull. And unfortunately, as you know, I can understand, like, genuinely, I can understand Disney and Marvel being like, we can't really keep promoting this image because, like, this is not a good thing, which is such a shame because that Punisher logo is badass and so synonymous with the character. But I get it. So in the most recent issue of The Punisher, he takes that skull logo, which Ares was wearing at the time, and literally burns it in his hands. Like, you're not going to get a more overt, you know, reference and acknowledgement that we are done with that than what we see here. So I gotta say, it's a shame, but I get it. So it's a new beginning for The Punisher. Let's see where they go with it. And finally, over in pro wrestling, Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, debuted at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th. Man, that was a long time ago. We're going to be catching up with a lot of news. And it's great to see her back in the pro wrestling world. Unfortunately, it wasn't a great debut. She hit the IWGP Women's Champion with this new finisher that she's been working on, but it was a massive, ugly botch, which wasn't her fault necessarily. Her opponent kind of took it wrong. She went down too quickly and geez, that was not good to watch. But she is back at least. But yeah, that could have gone more smoothly. However, she looked phenomenal. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, well, that's going in the thumbnail. So I'm interested to see where she does go with this. She has her first match booked for just a couple of weeks' time in the US for New Japan, going for the title. It's a pay-per-view event that I think I'm going to have to put down my money for because I want to see what she can do in the ring outside of the WWE. So even though she got off to a bit of a rocky start, I still see bright things ahead. And folks, that does it for good news for today. But we're not done with this episode because now I'm going to present to you some of the finest Christmas clips that you never got the chance to see on the day. So we're reliving the Christmas spirit, guys. Thank you so much for sending in your favorite action figures of the year. And I promise you right here and now, you will be at the top of the list for this year's Christmas special. Man, it's going to come around quick. When I'm filming it, I'm going to remember saying this right here. And I'll be like, man, I can't believe that was January. Guys, thank you so much. Take it away.
Hello guys, here's Galactus and Apocalypse, and happy New Year's, and happy good Christmas.
Hello, my name is Luke. I'm from China. My action figure of the year goes to the amazing fantasy Spider-Man from Marvel Legends. Thank you. Happy Christmas.
Thank you. Here's the action figure of the Red Hulk. And here's another character that I got from Christmas morning. And his name is Pit. He's big bad boy. You can put him on Spawn display, or just put him on the Hulk display. Anything you like. And Happy New Year's. And I'll see you on your video.
Hey, what's happening? David from Displaying-Model-Behaviour. Pack photos come to you from the Northern Virginia area in the United States. And I'd have to say my favorite figure of the year is none other than... That's right, the People's Champ himself, the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Black Adam movie version. While this didn't change the hierarchy in the movies, it definitely changed the hierarchy in my action figure collection just because of the fun factor. This toy photography shots just posing around, plus it's the freaking Rock as a superhero, so I smell what he's cooking.
And folks, that does it for good news for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, my videos have seemed to disappear from the YouTube algorithm. So if you're not subscribed, please do. And if you are subscribed, then maybe hit that notification bell so that you see the videos come up. I don't know. Maybe I'm clutching at straws, but I'm going to do whatever I can to get back on. I was going to say get back on top of the YouTube landscape, but I was never on top of the YouTube landscape. But get back on top of the bit that I was on. I just want to get back to there, and then we can continue building up. Gang, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.